People who lost their job due to this crisis. What is your story? Yeah, I just got hired last week, but I think that my first workday isn't gonna happen. I'm a server. I haven't worked since the 14th, but was officially laid off on the 18th. Where I am, temporary layoff is only 60 days. If we are not back by then, we lose our jobs permanently. It couldn't have come at a worse time since we have new management and there's been some murmurs about getting new staff. I was about to lose my apartment, unrelated, but my landlord phoned me up to let me know that he is no longer making me leave and not to worry about April rent. He also gave me $150 to go buy groceries. He's a bro. I'm trying to get through to EI, which is all online right now, but the site keeps crashing so I'm unable to make a claim right now. I'm sitting in a meeting right now, waiting to get fired. The VP is running late. So that's cool. I was laid off from my 5-year graphic design job, working for a screen printing and promotional products company. About half of our business involves schools, sports, and events. Obviously none of that is happening currently, so our business has stagnated. They are going to try to operate with a skeleton crew for the next couple months. The hope is to bring everyone back eventually, but I'm not optimistic. I got a call congratulating me on getting a job 2 days before a hiring freeze went into place at the university I applied to. I never saw my contract, nor do I have any work. If you are in the UK, the major supermarkets are on a recruitment drive with a fast turnaround of getting people in position. I know this isn't a story about losing a job, but hopefully this helps someone coming to this thread. I haven't been laid off, but I answer for the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline, and we are having so many calls where someone is thinking about killing themselves because they were laid off. This virus is causing so much damage, and there's never enough resources. Not me, but my wife has been told that basically, we'll call you if we need you, and they don't really need anyone tbh. She hasn't worked a minute since the 13th. And my sister was a bartender at an arcade, so she's totally fucked. She's been laid off with the promise of reinstatement when they reopen. I was laid off indefinitely from 2 different hourly paying line cooking jobs on Monday, 50 HRS combined/week. I helped clean out one of the restaurants Wednesday. We discarded a lot of stuff. I helped clean out all of the coolers and throw away a lot of prepped food that people didn't/couldn't take home. Employees were encouraged to take what they wanted: produce, dairy, meat, etc. The place is almost completely empty. It's surreal. My spouse was laid off indefinitely Wednesday. She manages a restaurant and is salaried with benefits, 50 HRS/week. She was told that management will not be paid until the place reopens. Our family currently has no work or income. We have a young child. These are very uncertain times. I worked at Hyatt. I was hired as an intern fresh out of college for a year. Most of Hyatt's interns were actually internationals from Europe. Hyatt paid us minimum wage, which is crazy once you learn how expensive NYC is. 2 months ago they recently hired a guy from the Netherlands, and just 2 weeks ago another girl also from the Netherlands have just moved to NYC for this internship and had moved to her apartment just last week. 2 days ago HR called us for a meeting and said effective Monday we were no longer employed by Hyatt. They refused to pay us any of our sick or personal days, which I had 7 days worth. For the interns that have recently moved to NYC, HR basically said you're on your own, not our problem, nothing we can do to help. Soul. Being laid off is one thing, but having the HR director tell us that they were not intending in paying any of our sick days or personal days was a slap in the face and a massive dick move. I had intended to work till Saturday, which was my last scheduled day. Since they were not paying my sick days, I just called off my last 3 days so I can at least get 3 sick days paid. Hyatt's saying is, we care for people so they can be their best. They really showed their true colors, and I would never work for Hyatt or stay in any of their property for as long as I live. Just a few things to mention. I'm not trying to cause a riot of any sort. I'm getting paid my accrued vacation only. As some have mentioned, New York doesn't require for sick days to be paid, so I've come to terms with that. Also, this was just my experience. I'm not encouraging/discouraging the use of Hyatt. Don't let this post be the make it or break it on whether or not you stay at Hyatt. This was just me venting. For the people that have PM me asking if I'm okay, thanks. But I will be alright. Good night everyone. I haven't lost my job, but my small software company instituted 30% pay cut across the board. They say it'll be re-evaluated every month. Clients keep canceling or postponing projects. So I'm good this month, but could easily lose it next month. I'm just happy they decided to cut pay instead of fire 30% of the workforce, so everyone can keep their health coverage. That, and I'm not sure I wouldn't have been part of that 30%. My job as a barista was shut down for safety and because nobody is coming in, anyway. And my summer job, teaching kids how to swim at a sleepaway camp, is cancelled because the camp decided not to open. While I'm not in danger of losing my house or starving, I am now unable to afford to continue going to college next semester. I'm a nurse. Had a kidney transplant 7 months ago. Returned to work 4 months ago. Left work on Monday and haven't been back since. A paycheck isn't worth risking my best friend's gift. My husband got laid off on Tuesday. He works about 3 minutes down the road from my work. He showed up at my work with tears in his eyes, apologizing to me for not doing good enough to be kept. He works at a car dealership as an auto technician, where they let go of 4 techs that day cause of decreasing business. They're letting go of more people this Saturday. My brother is a mechanic there, and is scared to lose his job too. They told my husband that when business picks back up, they might call and ask him to come work for them again. Thankfully, I work in the lab of a hospital, so my job is pretty secure. I keep telling my husband that we'll get through it, but I know it's taking a toll on him. I'm a housekeeper at a hotel. Last week they cut our hours from 40 to 32. I was just informed that tomorrow they are shutting down the hotel. Front desk, sales team, and bartenders are being laid off for the time being. Housekeeping will now work 24 hours a week for 2 weeks to deep clean the hotel, but who knows after that. I just finished my training as a flight attendant for a major European airline. It's been a dream of mine and I have been putting my love and energy into this training for the past months. I'm in Cancun right now and it's bittersweet because it's absolutely beautiful here, but at the same time this was my last training flight. I'm now a fully trained flight attendant and yet who knows when me and my other new colleagues will actually be getting our work contract since the airline industry is suffering a lot right now. I think I will cry when landing back in Frankfurt tonight, because I don't know when will be my next flight, but I will put on a brave face and genuine smile for our passengers. At least I will do my best. Last hired, first fired. The owner loves me but she couldn't keep us all on, so it was only fair. My side gig is dog walking, which is fucking slow BC. No one's leaving their houses these days. God bless the biddy whose dogs I walk every day. I was a bartender. The bars and restaurants were shut down. I was actually relieved because, not gonna lie, I was afraid of dealing with so many people and all the glasses. People would have just kept coming too if the state hadn't shut us down. My girlfriend works for Marriott and basically lost her job. They told her they'll call her when they need the staff again. She tried to apply for unemployment and was denied because Marriott has her as an employee who works 0 hours. So for the time being I'm taking over her financial responsibilities. I have just read that 18% of US workers have lost jobs or hours. Classical musician here. Every orchestra had to cancel concerts for the next 8 weeks. Unsure if any of the concerts will be rescheduled. Many orchestras are waiting to see if the "Act of God" clause will be applied. If that is the case, musicians will not be paid. Most summer orchestras are still programmed but there is high chance will be shut down as well. My mom works in vacation rentals doing housekeeping. She's 61, diabetic and has COPD, and lives in a state that has mandatory shutdown of all non-essential businesses. When she was informed they'd be laying people off, but also staying open, she told them she's afraid of getting coronavirus and they laid her off so she could collect unemployment and continue to pay her bills while staying home safe. Didn't lose my job, but I was in the middle of searching for a new one. Obviously now it's getting next to impossible to find a job, and I'm not eligible for EI. I was supposed to see my doctor yesterday, hoping to be cleared to go back to work. I had rotator cuff surgery 2 months ago. Appointment was cancelled, so I can't go back without the paperwork. Super sucks cause I have $100 to my name. Didn't lose my job because of this, but I've been between jobs for a good few months before this. It's been a terrible experience trying to get interviews or processes to move forward because of everything going on. Makes me worried about how much longer it'll be. I was a server looking for a new job before this all began. I got a job secured at the zoo, an amazing dream job for me and my personality, but the day before I started at the zoo, they shut it down for the coronavirus fears. Then they shut down my serving job too. This thread is painting a bleak AF picture. I had been unemployed for over 2 months, with countless applications and rejections. I finally landed a job at a record storing facility, good hours, good pay. Technically it was a casual job but it was essentially full-time. There was work for me for over a year. The company whose records I was to be taking care of cancelled the job and I was back out of work after 5.5 days. My last day at my old job was Thursday, started a new job Friday. All my old friends and coworkers are laid off Sunday. And I have this guilt I can't shake. I actually gained a job out of this. My local Walmart had a lot of people quit because of the sudden high demand for everything. Wife and I both work at major casinos on the Las Vegas Strip. Both of us are out of work. All casinos in Las Vegas are closed. Only security and a few other key positions are still employed. Casinos are the largest employers in the state of Nevada. I'm sure this is going to devastate the local economy. I've always read 40% of Americans or something are one paycheck away from poverty, but fuck, this virus is really putting that into perspective. Stay strong and safe out there. I am fucked. I'm American, but live in Italy. Northern Italy, specifically. Worked for the last 5 years for a tech startup that is heavily dependent on renting apartments and people traveling abroad in Europe for revenue, though my job in the company was totally back-end. I was part of the first wave of employees, and really liked my job. We were funded mostly by Silicon Valley investors. The company had already decided our jobs were to be automated slowly and painfully, and I was already starting to look for a new job, but the process just got sped up due to the crisis and we all got the red slip on Monday. My husband is a taxi driver, and he hasn't worked in almost 3 weeks. We don't know when he'll be able to work again. I don't know when I'll even be able to get another job interview. We have a 3-month emergency fund that I've built up thankfully and no CC debt, but I'm terrified for the future. We're both in our 30s, and got fucked in 2008 when we graduated into that recession. Now, I'm worried I'll never own a home and never have kids. I don't know how any of that will be possible. I feel hopeless. I'm going to fight my way out of this whichever way I can, but I'm honestly feeling defeated. And I'm scared we're going to get sick eventually. Or one of our family members here in Italy will get sick. Or one of my family members in the US will get sick, and I'll be unable to fly back to be there. We had an increase of around 4,450 cases and 427 more deaths in Italy today. I feel like a real asshole for even worrying about my finances in the face of this tragedy here, but I'm terrified for what's next selfishly. And I have no idea how I'm going to pay for my student loan going forward. It's literally strangling me. Just fuck, guys. If you got laid off this week, I'm with you. I literally just feel like giving up. Thanks for reading this if you did, I needed to vent. Stay good guys. And stay healthy, from us in Italy to wherever you are in the world. E2, it may be hard times, but at least they're gilded hard times, thanks for my first gold. And thanks to everyone who reached out with some kind words. You guys are the best. I'm self-employed so not technically lost my job, but all my clients have cancelled because I'm a tailor and who needs clothes when everyone's home isolating. Was even in the middle of making one lady's wedding dress, and she just forgot to tell me she's buggered off out of the country, and not gonna get paid. Hope this all blows over soon, crying face. It's not that I lost a job, it's the fact that it's now near impossible for me to find one. We deliver Amazon their delivery vans. We deliver to Amazon warehouses from New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Baltimore, and the DC area. I was nervous about continuing traveling from city to city and crammed in a minivan with 6 guys to come back home. I stopped working Tuesday and today I feel sick. Sore throat, very tired and sneezing. Hoping it's just allergies. I'm a bartender. I wasn't working Saturday or Sunday but was watching other places post on social media that they'd be closing for the time being. On Monday, a few hours before I was scheduled to go in, the city declared that sit-in restaurants should only serve takeout and that bars should close, so I spent a while with the owner packing up all the alcohol before we were all laid off in order that we could start collecting EI. I was a regular there for years before I started working there after finding it in its first week open, and it's been open almost as long as I've lived in this neighborhood. I'm the longest tenured bartender at this point. It's really fucked up to think about the place potentially not coming back. Had been unemployed for nearly 2 years due to medical problems. Finally got cleared to go back. It was a long, hard-fought road. Applied, got an interview. Crushed the interview. Offered the job on the spot. Took it. 2 days later, they took the offer back. Industry is getting crushed. Timing so shitty it hurts. Self-employed. Self-unemployed. To all OPs in this thread, if you are desperate for income, try your local grocery stores. Due to the influx of panic purchasing, there are many grocery stores hiring staff with the intent to get them trained and on the floor quick. I know this position is not highly coveted, especially during these times, but it can be a source of income if unemployment is not enough. I work for a ski resort in Colorado. Practically all employees have been laid off and are now stranded in a ski town with little other employment. Many have no way to get themselves home due to the desperate financial situation. My mom and I lost both of our jobs at roughly the same time. We were in the process of looking for and buying a house, but now with no income we can't. We're also getting kicked out of the house we're renting because the landlords are refurbishing, and with this virus going around it's not the best time to move. I own an escape room. We have made negative revenue this week because of refunding cancellations and no new bookings. We were just coming out of a rough patch and finally showing some profits before this hit. My business bank account is almost depleted. I frankly don't think the business is going to survive. Was working as hourly for a company which deals with the shows in Vegas. I read the news about all the shows stopping in Vegas. We were out of work Monday until who knows when. I was the only one with income in the family. I have a small business, but with everyone out of work who knows what's gonna happen. I've been broke before, but this is different. Is anyone kinda concerned that the media and general attitude seems really relaxed or hopeful towards these job losses? This whole crisis seems to be being taken lightly. Didn't lose my job, but I think this comment belongs here. I own a business with 20 staff and told them that no one is getting laid IFF because we always make sure to have savings. Care more about the team than clawing back profits. Love working together. Are pivoting our business to get new customers. Believe we will come out stronger. Layoffs are sometimes necessary, but companies need to do their best to take care of their own. Companies are made up of awesome people. If you take care of them, they'll take care of you. I live in Portland, Oregon. My GF and I both got laid off on the 16th when the governor ordered all bars and restaurants to close except for to-goes. We have no income and are just taking things day to day. We've created a subreddit for our hood, hoping to build a community and easy way for people to socialize. r/Sullivanskulch. Join if you're in the area, share your stories. Not my story, but my boyfriend's best friend is a singer. He sings at restaurants/bars, but they've been closing down and people haven't been going out to these places, so he can't do his gigs anymore. It's his source of income. So I know he's taking a hit. Not me, but my dad. He works in the exhibition industry, setting up stands for shows, events and conferences, but now with bans on public gatherings he's out of the job indefinitely. He was the sole earner in our house as well, and we only have enough rent money for the next month. Scary times ahead. Both boyfriend and I work in the film industry. The whole industry has been shut down in Vancouver and we are not being told when productions will come back or start up again. Showed up to work on the 13th, was told to go home and haven't been back since. I'm preparing myself for 2 to 3 months before I can even entertain the idea of going back to work. My fiancé is a freelance sound engineer. He's not going to be working for the foreseeable future. Most of the big AV companies in our city have shut up shop. Thankfully it looks like my job is secure for now, software, but we're going to move to a smaller place and do some serious belt tightening. My child care center closed last Friday and my wife's center closed yesterday. Company plans on staying closed until April 26th. They are paying us for the first 2 weeks. I moved home recently and work in the restaurant/bar industry. All job opportunities have vanished, which is especially shitty since this is a high season where I live. I'm lucky to have my family to help support me until things settle down. Please support and donate to charities for people who will be struggling over the next few months. I do camera work, mostly reality TV. Our entire industry is shut down. I had just finished filming Deadliest Catch and returned to real life to sleep. I worked 40-hour days, often with 2-hour naps, but no real schedule, just go, so recovery takes a bit after that one, and climb for a bit. Then everything I had lined up, and everything all of my friends are working on, went away basically overnight. Whenever you can, just turn the TV on to Discovery so when this all blows over, I can get back to frolicking in Alaska. Or the jungles. Side note, I finally had time to get treated for the parasite I picked up in Belize on Naked and Afraid. I named him Rupert and thought I killed him climbing, but it turned out I was wrong. Goodbye, Rupert. You'll be missed. So I work for a charter school and I was super afraid that this was it for us. But, the CEO came out and said that we are going to support the kids remotely, run online classes, and everyone will be getting paid regardless if you can actually do your job or not. So the teachers are still teaching, the janitors just chill at home, and everyone is paid for. My respect went up a lot for them. I work for an eye doctor and they just had a really slow couple months after Christmas and had already cut down our hours. The doctor cancelled all appointments and has essentially closed down. She told us she has business interruption insurance which she originally thought would cover us all, but after several days of back and forth with them it's totally still unclear if we will be covered and paid. In which case she will lay us all off and we must collect unemployment. I am hoping to know as soon as possible so I can file for it ASAP. I also filed for my tax refund 5 weeks ago and it's still not come, so I'm a little concerned. Actually really concerned, but I know there's nothing I can do. I'm hopeful I will be called back to my job after this but can't be sure. I'm a security guard for a nightclub which is obviously closed for now, but I have a really cool boss. He's given all his employees the time off while still being paid cause the dude's super insane rich and he looks after everyone. Everyone is guaranteed their old position when we return. Thanks Gary, you absolute legend you. This is what makes this a crisis. Previous financial crashes seem to focus on billions being wiped off the stock market, which doesn't really affect the majority of workers, at least immediately. This has manifested itself so quickly and so brutally by completely removing any requirement for a whole host of jobs. People are feeling it at all rungs of the ladder. Not just some arsehole banker who has had his shares wiped out overnight. And #X200B. The worst part is this is only just the beginning. I'm a substitute teacher, and I had a few sub-assignments lined up for the next month. All are cancelled, and if there will even be school year to finish. I had to apply for unemployment since I have no means of making a living if schools end their year. I live paycheck to paycheck, finally got my life somewhat stable over the last year as a bartender. I find out a couple days ago my only job is closing for the foreseeable future. I can't afford food or rent this month and don't have health care. We sold our house, packed up our stuff and our 2 young daughters, and moved our family to the Bay Area in California for my husband's new job in SF. That was January 25th of this year. He lost his job on Monday as soon as they announced the shelter-in-place order. We left behind our families, friends, home, everything for this job. We don't know what we're going to do. Thankfully we have savings from selling our house while he looks for a job. We just don't know who, if anyone, will be hiring anytime soon. I want to buy a school bus and convert it to an RV and go live in the mountains. I have yet to get my husband and our daughters on board with that plan though. Student lab assistant at my university. Didn't necessarily lose my job, they'll probably bring me back when campus reopens, but for at least a couple months I'll be unemployed. I'm about to lose the job I hate, but I don't hate it as much today. I don't have any family in America, no one to turn to. I'm looking at being homeless with 3 pets. I threw away a decent salary and a stable but mediocre life just over a year ago, to try and achieve something worthwhile and interesting for myself. I was guided toward a 1-year course in creative advertising, which seemed really interesting. So, I sold off most of my worldly possessions to get enough cash to move to the opposite end of the country with my partner to begin study. I got really into it, the course was really well connected with industry and I finished the course strongly with amazing prospects. I took the most prestigious offer, which was also the lowest paying, because prestige I guess, and began my internship at a world-leading agency. That was 6 weeks ago. My partner and I separated because we were growing apart, and on Monday I moved my belongings into a complete shithole of a flat, populated by shirtless weirdos. The next day, my company let go of all their temporary and contract staff. My career is gone, and I'm all alone in a disgusting house with no friends. At least I have internet for Reddit // In the middle of simulator training at the airlines and told to go home. Now I'm home. My old job is contracting and likely wouldn't be a good option even if they took me back, so I'm looking at alternatives. As someone who is still employed, reading these stories hurts. I really hope something is done to help you guys. I can only send positive vibes your ways. This is really heartbreaking to read. Long story short, professional cook, all restaurants, pubs, bistros, hotels, and cruise ships are shut down. Not so great right now. Reading all these answers is heartbreaking. I feel for each and every one of you experiencing financial hardship and the emotional struggle that goes along with it. You hear people saying all the time now, damn, sports aren't on, what am I gonna watch? Well, that's my job. I run camera for all the local sports in Colorado. We are all contractors and none of us are getting paid. You hear a bunch of teams offering money to the hourly employees, which is great, but that doesn't include the people who actually get the game on the air for people at home to watch. Being out of work for a month can be devastating on our livelihoods, as some of the lower positions could have only been on 1 or 2 shows before this crisis happened. Really rooting for a stimulus of some sort to come through. I haven't technically lost my job yet, American living in Australia, and I just finished my PhD in neuroscience, secured a postdoc at MIT and was set to start early April. This is now all postponed until the storm settles. Meanwhile, I now have no income and don't qualify for any aid from either country. Yay me. I just got laid off about 2 hours ago. My company, which was in the health and wellness industry, had over 1,200 employees and everyone was laid off via a PDF on a company worksite. I had just gotten a promotion to an area manager last week. I scored my dream job last May, and after 3 months I was let go due to delays in a project I was directly involved in. My girlfriend and I had just moved in together, and my monthly living cost was based off the higher salary from the job I had lost. After several months of surviving by credit cards, job hunting, picking up odd jobs to make ends meet, some things working 3 different jobs in a single day, I finally found a new company I was excited to work. After weeks of interviewing, I started last week. On Friday, we were all put on mandatory work from home. I was the only one let go. To make it worse, my girlfriend works in hospitality and she's also out of work, too. Shit sucks, man. My girlfriend is a private chef. She caters all sorts of events, but bread and butter is weddings, private functions, corporate events, etc. Our country isn't that badly affected, yet, so she has 2 events on this weekend, but after that, absolutely nothing. Chef, restaurant closed since our menu is not takeout friendly. Owners have been super helpful with unemployment. They also gave the staff anything that wasn't freezable like produce and stuff. I am honestly proud to work for them in the way they handled it. Lost my job this morning. I had been writing software for airlines. First thing I saw this morning in my calendar was a meeting with HR, half an hour later myself and almost everyone I worked with was redundant. We had all seen the issues of course, but we weren't expecting such a sudden cut down to a skeleton staff. I hope it's enough to keep everything running for the sake of my colleagues still there. I was looking for a job after college for a solid year, finally broke down and got one at a grocery chain doing online orders and hated it for a year. About a year ago I got hired and could use my degree with and was happy and getting paid well. I was able to pay my rent and my girlfriend's while she was in school. Got laid off 2 days ago with no indication as to whether I'll have a job when this is over and trying to figure out how I'll support us. I'm a tour guide, we make most of our money between March and June due to traveling school groups. All March and April shifts have been cancelled, I'm praying I get to work in May. When tours slow down in June I usually work in a summer camp, there's some uncertainty there as well. Server in NYC. Restaurants are shut down except for takeout and deliveries. I've been out of a job for about a week and my last paycheck hit today via direct deposit, which was about $300 because of the few days I worked. Applied for unemployment but the site keeps crashing due to a huge volume of traffic. Nothing anyone can do right now TBH. Thankfully I live with my family, 2 of which are pharmacy techs, so it's not that bad. Future is still uncertain and that's causing a bit of anxiety, but I gotta keep moving forward and doing what I can. Worked as a social media manager for a retail store. They let me go as they weren't making enough sales to make sense paying me, and also made a point to say it wasn't because of the virus or the bushfires, yet both severely impacted how many sales we made. So I now can't find a new job because nowhere is hiring. I'm a hiking guide in a national park, all of my backpacking trips and day hikes have been cancelled until the end of April. Good thing I decided to wait to buy that used car. I just landed my first job as a roadie/stagehand right before the virus hit England. My friend had given me an in by drafting me as a last-minute replacement for staff that had cancelled one day. I had only done 2 shifts, one filling for the aforementioned unavailable staff, and the next after asking about more regular employment. After my second shift, I asked who to talk to about getting into the books and officially into employment. I emailed the right people and was told I'd be paid but not to worry about a timesheet. I asked if I'd get more work in an email sent on the day of the outbreak in the UK. Now all the gigs are being cancelled and I'm not getting replies to my emails from the higher-ups anymore. A friend of mine, who's been with the company for a year or so, told me that they had emailed her to let her know there's nothing coming up in the next month. I don't know whether I'm employed or not, but something tells me I'll not be receiving any more emails from that company. This thread is heartbreaking. Luxury hotel downtown here, 300 employees essentially lost their jobs when the hotel announced closure until April 15th. I'm with the reservations department and luckily was able to work 1 day a week, essentially a one-man department, along with a few co-workers. Going to use my PTO, which I have plenty of, and apply for unemployment as a safety blanket. I pray for all those who are going through a more difficult time. Travel/hospitality industry got hit hard, seems almost overnight. I work backstage in theater/opera and on set for film/TV. We were the first industry to close, and likely won't be back for a long while. T.